One of the strangest things about facing something like cancer is how quickly the unthinkable can start to feel normal. A few weeks earlier, we had been sitting with the shock of Adele's diagnosis, trying to process what it meant for our lives. And then, almost without realizing it, we found ourselves walking into a hospital for major surgery, finding moments to laugh, to connect, even to feel a sense of momentum. At the time, that felt like strength. Looking back, I realized it was also something else. It was hope. This is Reframing Life, stories of love, loss, and what it means to be human. I'm Kent, and in the series, my soulmate named Adele, I'm sharing the true story of how we found each other, what it meant to love like that, and what it means to keep living after she's gone. In the last episode, we received Adele's diagnosis, and like most people, we moved quickly into action. Doctors, research, treatment plans, anything that gave us a sense of direction. What we didn't yet understand was that we were stepping into a season where fear and hope would exist side by side, and sometimes it would be hard to tell which one was leading. Adele's first surgery was scheduled for October 31st, Halloween. It was the earliest date available for both her bilateral mastectomy and the initial stage of reconstruction, so we took it without hesitation. Since the previous spring, we had been watching Grey's Anatomy together. Adele loved that show, not just for the relationships, but for the medical world itself. When she was a young girl growing up in Hungary, she had dreamed of becoming a doctor. Life took her in a different direction, but that curiosity never really left her. So there we were, walking into the hospital on the morning of a very serious surgery, and something unexpected happened. The entire surgical team was dressed in Halloween costumes. The pre-op nurse, the doctors, everyone. And Adele lit up. She was already determined to face this head on, but this moment shifted something. There was a lightness to it, a sense that even here, in a place that could have felt heavy and frightening, she could still find something to enjoy. She was genuinely excited to go into the OR, not just to remove what she called the invader, but to experience it, to be inside something she had been fascinated by for years. Only Adele. Sometimes strength doesn't look the way we expect it to. It doesn't always come with seriousness or intensity. Sometimes it shows up as the ability to find something to smile about, even when everything around you says you shouldn't. Chemo began just before Christmas of 2018. Adele had considered using cold caps to try to minimize hair loss, but in the end she made a very intentional decision. She was going to let whatever was going to happen. That didn't mean she wasn't prepared. She had her hair cut shorter ahead of time. She sourced wigs, both synthetic and real hair. She hoped for the best, but she planned for the worst. She loved her hair. So did I. So did my dad, if you remembered that story. Then came New Year's Day. I remember hearing her call my name from the shower. Kent! And before I even got there, I knew what it was. Her hair had started to fall out. But by the time I reached her, she had already processed it. She'd already moved through the emotion and landed on a decision. She wanted to take control of the moment and remove what was left. There wasn't really time for me to reassure her or to try to soften it. She didn't need that. She was ready. So we did it together. And I remember thinking, what a way to start the year. Adele continued working through much of her treatment. She wanted to maintain a sense of normalcy, not just for us, but for our clients, for the life we had built together. A close friend often accompanied her to her chemo sessions. So for me, that period passed without a lot of clearly defined memories, except for one that no one really talks about. During one of her treatments, a patient sitting in the pod next to her had a severe reaction. Even with multiple doctors attending to him, he passed away right there. Up until that moment, death had felt like something distant, something that might happen slowly over time. But this was different. This was immediate, and it made something very clear to both of us. There was no guarantee of how any of this would unfold. After that, we didn't pull back. If anything, we leaned in even more to being present, to being positive, to making the most out of every moment we had. At one point in time during that season, we took a trip to Los Cabos. It ended up being more than just a vacation. We celebrated our 11th wedding anniversary there. Adele had planned to bring her wigs, but I remember suggesting that maybe she leave them behind just for this trip, just to be free from that reminder for a little while. Her hair was short by then, salt and pepper, and honestly, incredibly chic. She looked strong, confident, and beautiful. What surprised us was how many people complimented her on it. Strangers, over and over again. They had no idea why her hair was short. They just saw her, and for that week, life felt normal again. We laughed, we relaxed, we were just us. When chemo ended, Adele was incredibly relieved. Physically, she handled it remarkably well. Mentally, it was wearing, but she stayed focused on the one thing that mattered most to her, moving forward. And slowly, almost without noticing it, we began to believe something, that maybe we had caught it early enough, that maybe we were going to get through this, that maybe life was returning to us. Almost a year later, after her surgery, we were in Steveston, walking along the water, enjoying one of those simple days that don't feel important at the time, but stay with you later. Adele posted a photo from that day on Facebook. She wrote that she was 1 year cancer-free, feeling great, and we believed it. She believed it. We all did.